Prime Time. Now from New York, Diane Sawyer.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Time. In a few minutes, you're going to see what it's like in a kind of medical no man's land. You'll remember about a year ago, the government issued a very public warning about silicone breast implants, restricting their use because of too many unanswered questions about their safety, including a possible link to immune disorders. We wonder what happened after that to the women across the country who believe their implants are making them sick. We found some doctors who don't take their complaints seriously, and some insurance companies don't want to pay for the implants to be removed. Renee Poussant brings us a brand new chapter in this medical nightmare.
When Pam Dempsey got her implants, she was told they would last a lifetime and were safe. She never imagined they could lead to her deteriorating health. For 6 years, she had been complaining to her doctors about headaches, chronic fatigue, and joint aches and pains. But it wasn't until she heard the news reports that Pam, now 29, associated the symptoms with the implants.
When everything came out on TV, I had all the symptoms, all of them. I strongly suspected then. I called my doctor. I called the surgeons. They acted like I was paranoid, maybe overreacting.
Did you pretty much say,
well, this is it. There's nothing, nobody will help me. There's nothing I can do.
7 months later, in November of '92, a mammogram showed there was a rupture in one of her implants, and Pam was told they had to come out. At last, she told her doctor she had proof of why she was sick.
I've been trying to tell you, I've been sick, you know, I'm sick, let's get them out.
Marlene Hooker's first set of implants were for breast reconstruction in 1975. 3 more sets and 3 operations later, she became sick in 1990 with symptoms similar to Pam's.
I knew they had to come out. I was getting worse daily, taking more and more medication with less and less satisfaction.
For 2 years, her doctors didn't know why she was sick. Then, in February 1992, Marlene heard news reports about possible problems with implants. She contacted her plastic surgeon.
He said, I don't think there's any connection. I think the news media has just caused everybody to overreact. He said, however, if you're having a problem, see your family physician.
Like Marlene and Pam, 30-year-old Michelle Carlson was energetic and healthy before she had her breasts enlarged with silicone implants in 1990. She, too, was told they were safe. A year after the surgery, she started to feel sick, but didn't connect it to her implants. For months, her doctors told her, take antibiotics. It's just some virus.
I started writing down every day my fever, and I would go back to the doctor, and I would say, I've had a fever for 30 days now. And, you know, then it was 45 days, and they still basically told me I just had a virus.
Finally, Michelle went back to the plastic surgeon who had originally put her implants in and had said then that they were safe. Now he told her they were making her sick and had to come out immediately.
When I went into the hospital and I saw all these other women that were in there with the exact same problems. And, you know, I hate to say it, but in a way it made me feel better because I knew I wasn't crazy. There are many people that are sick.
If you go to a meeting like this of a support group called Silicone Sisters, you'll hear the same kind of stories. Women spending months, some even years, trying to find out why they are sick, and still being told by doctors that their symptoms are unrelated to their breast implants.
Every time I go to the doctor's office, they tell me it's in my mind.
Like hundreds of other women with implants in similar groups around the country, they search for answers and for help.
Let us hope that someday the doctors will be more sympathetic and knowledgeable about our condition.
They exchange names of doctors, mainly rheumatologists, who will recognize and treat their symptoms, and the names of sympathetic plastic surgeons to remove their implants. This network is necessary, they say, because of the resistance of the plastic surgery establishment to the idea of connecting implants to any health problems.
All those symptoms are symptoms that commonly occur in the population at large. A segment of those people have implants.
Dr. Norman Cole of Louisville, Kentucky, says women of a certain age are vulnerable to certain problems, with or without implants.
So women between the ages of 20 and 50 are more prone to
Skin rashes, swollen breasts, severe joint pain, chronic fatigue?
Yes, at this point in time, there's no evidence that there's a higher incidence in breast implants than there is in the patient's population at large.
The tragedy in this entire issue is that we don't really know how many women out there have implants. Okay, and we don't really know how many of them have problems. So we have no clue as to what the incidence is.
Dr. Roger Corey at Barnes Hospital in St. Louis has a number of concerns about breast implants. He removes 2 to 3 sets of them a week and has refused, with only a few exceptions, to put breast implants into women. He says half of the implants he removes are ruptured. In this patient's case, even though hers are intact, Corey sees other problems.
Notice how the color is not crystal clear. When we put those in, they're crystal clear. I don't know why they're not when we come back a few years later. So although the shell is intact, you get this slime of silicone. This is what they call bleed. This lady did not have a gross rupture, but she had leakage. So obviously there was something going on there. I need a new pair of gloves now. My gloves are slimy and I can't hold instruments with them.
Rupture and leakage are not the only things that can go wrong. This is what some implants can look like when they are removed.
We have a bit of what you could call a cemetery to this technology. These are all failed implants, failed in different ways.
Dr. Pierre Blais has examined over 2,000 sets of failed breast implants. Formerly the Canadian government's top authority on medical products, he is now a private consultant who also testifies as an expert witness in lawsuits and is focusing his attention almost entirely on breast implants that have been removed. This, he says, is a silicone implant that has ruptured. This is what a new one looks like, and this is one in which the scar tissue surrounding the implants has calcified, become rock hard, a problem that plastic surgeons have known about for years.
What you see here is what's left of the implant. This is the shell. This is the way it came out when the pathology center decided to open up what it was to see what was inside. Let me show you what this really looked like when you take it out of a patient. It is as tough and as hard as a bowling ball.
What kind of harm comes from that kind of ruptured implant?
We don't know. We know one thing, though, is that once the breast is invaded with this mass of stuff, it is changed permanently, chemically.
And women who've had problems with their implants complain of arthritis-like conditions, some of them severe. But you cannot prove that the breast implants directly cause those conditions.
Probably not. However, if you look at something like this, which is leaking like a sieve, and you look at this person, and if she's got an unusual disease, you better have a very good argument to say that this didn't do it.
Are breast implants safe?
Yes.
You can say that without qualification.
Breast implants are safe inasmuch as we can count any sort of medical device is safe.
Dr. Cole was president of the American Society of Plastic and Reconstructive Surgeons a year and a half ago when the FDA held hearings about the safety of silicone breast implants. Under his leadership, the society spent close to $4 million for a high-powered lobbying campaign to keep silicone breast implants on the market. I'm still not understanding why it is that you feel that these implants should continue to be placed in women if there is no scientific proof that they are safe.
There is no scientific proof that they're unsafe.
What the plastic surgeons wanted to convince people of was there is not evidence 100% conclusive to show that these are harmful. That's not the standard. If that's the standard, then you're going to wait till there are bodies out there.
Dr. David Kessler, head of the Food and Drug Administration, says the standard for the implants has to be proven safety, and the implant manufacturers, he says, are responsible for the testing to get that proof. The restrictions he placed on the use of silicone breast implants last year will stay in force, he says, until all of the testing is done, a process that could take another 2 to 5 years. Why does it have to take that long?
I can't allow these devices to be marketed until the time when we have the answers. Can we speed up getting the answers? We're working as hard as possible.
In the meantime, doctors like Corey are finding that with most of their patients, once the implants are gone, so are the health problems.
We're finding out that really a lot of those women, once you've taken the implants out, do improve. All those symptoms, the feeling of being sick all the time, do improve. Could be a placebo, a sham effect, we're not sure. But the fact of the matter is, the majority of them do improve.
That's why women desperate to regain their health want the implants taken out. But many can't afford the procedure, which can cost as much as $15,000, an expense they feel should be covered by insurance. Yet some companies are claiming removal is not a medical necessity and are refusing to pay. That's what Marlene Hooker found out after her doctor wrote her insurance company that her implants had leakage problems and had to be removed. That wasn't good enough for the insurance company. They would not approve reimbursement for the surgery. 2 months later, Marlene woke up one morning with a red rash and swollen breasts.
And you decided what?
Today's the day they're coming out if I have to do it myself.
Marlene went to the emergency room of a local hospital, hoping they would remove her implants. She thought if the surgery was an emergency, her insurance company would be forced to pay for it. Told this could not be done in their operating room, Marlene became desperate. If it was not done as an emergency, she figured insurance would not pay.
So this was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I sat there until 9 o'clock and nothing. I knew I was going to lose my nerve if I didn't go do it. I mean, you can only sit patiently so long not knowing what's going to happen. So I just took my little scalpel out of my purse. I walked across to the little restroom in the emergency room area, lifted my blouse, and proceeded to try to rupture the implant.
You cut yourself with the scalpel?
Yeah. While it wasn't that painful, it felt like a paper burn cut. I was thinking, can I do this? If I'm going to do it, I better hurry, because I'm not going to be able to stand here much longer slicing away at my breast. Then I saw some little jelly-like stuff, and I said, yay, I've done it.
The next day, at another hospital, Marlene got what she wanted. Her implants were removed. Like Marlene, Pam Dempsey was denied coverage. In her case, because the initial surgery was cosmetic. Michelle's insurance company turned her down because they do not consider signs and symptoms to be an illness or injury. All of the unanswered questions and disagreements within the medical establishment have put women in a kind of medical limbo and have made it easier for insurance companies to refuse to pay for medical treatment related to breast implants.
The great tragedy of this is that women had these devices put in and they were never told there were risks with these devices.
So who's responsible?
Everybody's responsible. The manufacturers who sold these products, the doctors who implanted it, and this agency who, over a period of time, didn't call the plastic surgeons and the manufacturers on the carpet.
But in the meantime, for the women who have these devices in their bodies, what do you tell them?
The most important thing is to tell them everything we know.
But what I'm hearing is that the FDA doesn't really know very much at this stage.
You're 100% correct.
So
we are sitting here, 30 years of use, and I don't have the answers to basic questions.
A few notes now. After our interview, Pam Dempsey got a letter from her insurance company saying her claim is being reconsidered. Michelle Carlson's insurance company made partial payment for her implants to be removed. She's feeling much better and plans to go back to work soon. And Marlene Hooker says her health is about the same. Her insurance company finally did pay for the removal of her implants. An important point, the Food and Drug Administration advises that women should not have their implants removed if they're not having any problems. However, if there is evidence of a rupture or other symptoms, seek medical advice. And if you feel your doctor is not listening to you or taking you seriously, find one who does.